Hi, welcome to the Epic Kate Show. I'm really glad you're here. I have had so many wonderful conversations with people on this channel, authors, actors, musicians, so many people. This conversation here is just a part of a conversation with an amazing lady named Diane Steinberg Lewis. She is wonderful, and she's been a musician, a producer, a teacher, and back in 1978 she was in a film called Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I am on a roll today. This movie was interesting. I still don't get it, but it's very colorful and it's got some big names and wonderful music. And I'm so glad to have met her because I never would have watched this movie otherwise. So I hope you'll enjoy this conversation, and I hope it will wet your whistle for more of our conversation to come, because boy, does she got some stories. So many stories. Please like this video before we start because I know you're going to like it. Subscribe. You don't want to miss out on the amazing people I get to talk to.
Baravid.
Oh, so close. It's Biargvida.
Biarvida. Okay. Okay.
So I have to make a confession. I never heard of this movie that you were a star in back in 1978.
That's okay.
Sergeant Pepper, I said Peppa like Peppa Pig. Sergeant Pepper and the Lonely Hearts Club.
Yeah, Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, 1978. Robert Stigwood. I mean, I don't know if you saw Jesus Christ Superstar.
Not yet.
Any of the, oh, see, those were all, that was even 77. He did quite a few things, and of course he had the Bee Gees, so all of the Bee Gees hits, and they were in the film as well, doing Beatles music. Hi guys, and doing it their way with Earth, Wind and Fire and Billy Preston and Sandy Farina co-starred. We were the ones introduced in the film because Peter Frampton, everybody knows Peter Frampton, I think. Peter Frampton and the Bee Gees, George Burns, way before your time. But it's okay because you'll look at it and you go, oh, that movie? Okay. Cheers, Diana, whatever.
So I didn't get to finish it because I was trying to watch it online and it kept lagging and things, but I watched a good chunk of it and I was just like, what does it mean? I'm really curious to ask you like what it meant to you then, if you can transport your mind back in time, what did it mean to you then?
Well, at the time, I had just finished an album with ABC Records, and I was prepping to push that album. And so I was going to open up for George Benson, and at one point the agents for Gino Vanelli. I don't know if you know who he is, but oh, you know what? I should have sent you a homework list. I used to be a teacher too, so high school. But anyway, so I was just about to start promoting that album when I went to ABC Records, and they were trying to tell me who they thought I should be with, a manager, you know, so they wanted to introduce me to someone. So while I was over there, the other guy had a promo, Charlie Miner, was on the phone, and he said, I'm looking at her right now. Now I'm shortening this story, but he said, I'm looking at her right now. I didn't know what he was talking about. Apparently, they had been looking for the part of Lucy for a whole time. All I ever heard about was like, well, you know, in Tommy, Tina Turner played the bad girl, so you'll play the bad girl. If you get this, it'll be really good. And so I knew Frampton and the Bee Gees were in it, but you know, I had always thought, and I told my manager at the time, Dick Broder, I said, I don't want to be in any film with a bunch of rock and rollers who don't know how to act, because some of the, no, look, I love the Beatles. They're great songwriters, but by the time they did their thing and the Monkeys and all those little skip things that they did, I don't know. I just went, oh, that's silly, and I just kind of went on. You know, I never, I was never a big fan of those little skits and things that they did. I did become a fan of the Monkeys after a while, but
They're fun.
they were the other fun. I told my manager, I said, well, why didn't you Peter Frampton and the Bee Gees? That sounds pretty heavy, you know. And he went, well, you said you didn't want to work with anybody. And I went, yeah, but I mean, Peter Frampton, and then I heard that Donna Summers was up for the part, and Carly Simon was up for the part, and I started hearing about these named people that they had already auditioned, and I thought, well, maybe this will be a good move. And so I went down and auditioned, and it was a lot of fun to do that. And I'm seeing all these backstories are in my mind, you know, of what I dressed like, what I decided to look like, what I did in the audition. So it's fun stories, but that's how I came to come about with Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band
Mm.
by ABC Records, Charlie Minor, doing an audition, getting it. And I'll add one thing that I've said in every interview. What really got my hackles up a little bit was a costume designer friend in Hollywood that had helped me on one of my albums. Very nice. She's a very nice girl. And she was very good friends with Donna Summers. And so I called her and I said, I'm going, because I'm not going to say her name right. I said, I'm going to try out for this movie, Sergeant Pepper. And she said, well, my friend Donna Summers is trying out for that. You're not going to get it. So I went, oh, well, why do you say that? You know, I had to decide whether I was going to be upset about that or not. And so she went, because you're not going to get it. If anybody's going to get it, it's going to be Donna. So I went, okay, I'll call you back. So then I called my, hello, Dick Broder. Okay, I want to try out for the part. So I got PO'd uh, enough to make a point. So then after I got it, I made a nice little call. Hello. Hey, I just want you to know that I got the part of Sergeant Pepper. Bye. So I don't know. I mean, if I saw her today, I'd hug her, because everything that comes in your life, you know, whether it's good or bad or indifferent, it's there to push you on to some other area,
Mm.
some other plateau.
That,
So God
sorry.
bless her.
Yeah. That reminds me of when I was in third grade, I actually had the opportunity to listen to the legendary author Ray Bradbury speak. He
Whoa,
came to our school.
he did? Wait a minute. Okay. What did
And
he say? Okay,
and
I'm listening.
it was incredible. And I still remember, and I have a bad memory. Like I will watch a show and then a few years will pass. I will have no idea what happened. Just like, oh, that character died and that character fell in love. They fell in love. Like that's it. That's the only thing that will stick. But I remember him telling the story of people, all the people that told him he was crazy and we'll never get on spaceships, we'll never go to the moon, all these things. And he took their numbers down. And when we got on the moon, he called them up.
He did? Oh, wow. Okay, I got one more story. My daughter in first and second grade, uh, I used to teach because I'm in music, you know, and I was a teacher when I started having kids, which was much later. I had my first daughter when I was in my 30s. And so she was trying to spell some words, and so I would have to make words into games and songs. Like if there were words that had two consecutive letters, the same one, like yellow or narrow, or you know, and I go YELLOW or NARROW, O-W. And so she got the OWs and all those things together. So then when she would be in class, she'd go, so she got 100% on her spelling test, but the teacher got so irritated with her. She's singing while she's doing hers, and she wasn't singing loudly, but she also would doodle. So after she would do the work, it would have all these little flowers and fairies and things all on the paper, which is an added, I would say, give another plus, right? She got so irritated with that, and so she wasn't very nice to my daughter. She said some things, and other parents had noticed that she was getting to the point where it irritated her so much, started picking on her. Well, to this date, with all that doodling and all that singing, my daughter now, who went into animation and was at Warner Brothers, then she was at DreamWorks, then she had on Netflix Archibald's Next Big Thing, which is still playing, art director Sierra K. Lewis, and now she's at Disney, doodling and spelling. Okay.
It's like schools just want to suck all the life and personality out of people and just spit out these copies that can answer tests but not do anything else. Like art is what changes the world. People
Yeah.
knew this. People knew this in the 60s and 70s, but they lost it somewhere.
Well, I'm thinking about that part, and all of a sudden I'm back there. I'm back there again, and that teacher went on to tell the second grade teacher something, and then that teacher got on her, and then finally I just went, time out. We're going to have a meeting, and we had a meeting, and then I found out that there were other parents that were having some similar things. Okay, if your child needs to learn in a special way, it doesn't mean anything other than they will more than likely see things in a special way. And some of those things are the spark of genius, uh, insight that everybody else will miss. So leave my kid alone and go, pop, I'm gonna get you. Okay, so anyway.
Oh, I love it. You never stop being a mom. You never stop feeling that, like, oh, I got to take care of them.
Yeah, and if you ever taught, you never stop being a teacher. Now, I got an idea about that too, because I just, my life, I kind of planned out. I'm going to finish high school, then I'm going to go to college, and then I'm going to perform on the weekends, which I did all through college. Then I get my teaching degree. Actually, I thought I was going to be a concert pianist, but then they gave me a reality check like my third year. So we went to public school music, high school. And so then I taught in Battle Creek Central High School in Battle Creek, Michigan, for 3 years. And then I learned so much from the kids. I mean, I played piano, but then there was a group of Black kids that got together on the on the break, and everybody would congregate in the music room. There's always a place at a school where all the kids congregate, whether it's the cafeteria or the music room or the football field or something. So they would come in, and they were at different churches, So I sat there because I student taught there first. So I sat there and I would listen to them sing all of their songs from church. And look, I was raised 12 years Catholic, grade school, middle school, and high school. So, but because I was from Memphis, Tennessee, I heard the gospel things in the neighborhood that would, and listen, you learn by osmosis too. It's like a seed that's planted, and you don't know when you're going to use it. But hearing and exposing yourself to so many different things on purpose or by accident, something grows in you, and you begin to have a sense about what is authentic and what is not, because you heard it all. So
Oh, that.
So I sat there and I listened to him and I went, yeah, what are you guys doing? They said, we meet in here every day and we sing. And because I was mostly a classical pianist, my dad was a jazz musician. My mom was in radio. So you got the rock and roll and the rhythm and blues, and then you got the jazz over here. And then I'm the classical, musician in the family. And I got all of that too, but I never learned how to play gospel piano because I was just the Sister Mary Evangelist on the organ at St. Augustine, you know. So Vera Wardlow, I'll never forget her name. She was just junior in high school, and she would play all the songs because they would sing all the same songs at these different churches. And then they started singing some of the pop songs. And I said, why don't we make this a class or something? And we were able to make it a class and called it the Ebonites because there was no place else for them to go. And they ended up getting, we would do fundraisers and go all over the city and play and sing. And some of those kids who are now grown with grandkids, but they went on to perform, like Eric Riley performed in Once on This Island on Broadway. And many of them became chefs, and all of them still sing beautifully. So, one thing about it, when you're a teacher, to get people's attention, you have to entertain. And when you're an entertainer, you end up teaching because now you have their attention and now you can say something substantive. So, all right, I'm going to quit talking.
I love it. I feel like, oh no, I only have this little tiny bit of time. I could listen to you talk for days.
Well, I don't want anybody to get tired of me. Hi, everybody.
Oh man. Well, I don't care. I'll just keep you to myself then. Thank you so much for watching that. Isn't she amazing? Don't you just want to listen to her talk for hours on end? I know I do. So, yes, write down below and tell me what you liked about it, and let me know if you've seen this strange movie. Hugs and nostrils of death. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Talk about Lucy. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Talk about Lucy. Okay, let's see if this video gets copyright striked.